Hello, everyone, and welcome to Through the Wire, where we discuss the hottest stories in sports straight from the headlines. I'm John Paul Salamanca. This is Ed Molina. And Ed, let's take a look at first what we got in the NBA. The playoffs are going on right now.
Sure. Let's start with the Miami Heat, who are just about to stick a fork into the Indiana Pacers. Finally, this Indy team struggled at the last month of the season. They struggled against the Hawks. I mean, they got by on an inexperienced Wizards team that, quite honestly, is going to be dangerous next year. And they're just getting thumped by the champions.
What went wrong here? Because, I mean, last year, these two teams met in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and they went to 7 games, pretty much the last final minutes of the game. This time around, it's a completely different story right now.
I don't know what happened to Paul George. I mean, this is not the same team we saw last year that took the Heat to 7, and it clearly shows. I mean, this is the Heat's division all the way, and they're going to take it all the way to the final. Now, what happens in the final is another story. So,
and on that note, going out west, the Spurs are up 2-1 on Thunder. And the little interesting element that comes back in with Serge Ibaka is apparently returning now.
Ibaka.
And if you're Greg Popovich, are you afraid?
Yeah, you have to be concerned. You're not. I mean, Greg Pops ain't dumb. He sees the tape. He saw the tape from the last game where Ibaka was there to the other 2 games. I mean, the guy was a monster. The guy had a monster game. I mean, that was above and beyond Ibaka. We know he's a solid player, but that was all-star Ibaka right there. That's what it looked like to me. The series changes with Ibaka, and it absolutely changes. I don't know what to make of it yet.
Indeed, the Western Conference, one to watch. And now moving into the NHL, we got potentially now it looks like we might have the setting all kind of set for the finals. We have the Kings up 3-1, and now the Rangers are up 3-1. Go Rangers, by the way.
It looks like Gary Bettman might get a ratings wet dream in having New York versus LA in the Stanley Cup. Oh. New York hasn't won it in what, 94?
1994.
20 years. Mark Messier. And you know, the Kings have been playing well for the last few years. I mean, they have won a Stanley Cup in the last couple of years. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I don't think anyone expected the Rangers to be here. I think everyone was thinking the Bruins or the Pittsburgh Penguins. So if you're a New Yorker, especially a Knicks fan who's depressed, this has got to cheer you up on some capacity. But yeah, it's looking like it's going to be Rangers Kings.
Yeah, it's going to be one to see. And moving on to soccer, very interesting news this week. Landon Donovan being left off Team USA for the World Cup. And ironically enough, that didn't stop him from performing well enough to score his, 136 goals? 136
goals. He scored 2 goals last night in his game to make him the all-time scoring leader in Major League Soccer history. You want to throw shots at the league, go right ahead. But this is a big accomplishment for Landon Donovan, who is Captain America to soccer. Now, with the Jurgen Klinsmann thing and Team USA, I do differ from the rest of the pack. It hurts. It hurts to see Donovan gone. We'll always have Algeria, but the team has to get younger. I don't blame Klinsmann for doing this, even though there's some issues, maybe personal issues between Donovan and Klinsmann, but it's the right move, even though nobody wants to say it.
Let's talk about the uproar for a second. I mean, Twitter and social media pretty much went crazy when Donovan was cut from the team last week. And, it's rare that you see this kind of a blow-up for soccer. Especially.
Well, it's a good sign for American soccer that we get an outrage over who goes to the World Cup team and who doesn't. So it's a sign that the sport is certainly growing. I think the other thing is even if you're not a soccer fan, I feel like you know where you were when Landon Donovan scored that goal against Algeria. It's an iconic sports moment, whether you like soccer or not. I mean, it's up there with Mike Piazza's home run after 9/11. It's up there with, the 1980 U.S. hockey team. Even though people assumed they won the gold that game against Russia, they didn't. They won against Finland. So it tapped a nerve into the American zeitgeist that just, it was special. Most people know where they were when that goal happened.
Yeah, at very least, people are talking about soccer again. That's a good sign as World Cup comes along. And that wraps up this edition of Through the Wire. Remember to tune in next week for more. And to continue the conversation, remember to log on to LatinPost.com.